are you? So today I wanted to talk about period health because like most people who have periods, they are not consistently the same. There's usually, depending on your stress level, you can get heavier periods, you can get acne depending on your diet during the month, and you can have severe cramping or really tender breasts or moodiness, anxiety. And so these are certain fluctuations that happen during the month. And if you can anticipate some of these changes in your hormones, maybe there's a way, you know, that you can sort of plan around it and reduce these symptoms. So earlier today I had posted 2 slides. One of them was about, it was on a chart, like a graph, and it had the whole 28 days mapped out. The first 14 days is the follicular phase, and then the last 14 days is the luteal phase. So the first 14 days starts on the first day of your period, the first day that you bleed. And that is the follicular phase, and it's when your estrogen levels start to rise, and it peaks at the midpoint at the 14th day. The estrogen peaks, and this is where most women feel their best, their highest energy level. And then after that, the progesterone will start to rise as well. And what you want to pay attention to is the ratio of estrogen and progesterone, because estrogen is a very dominant type of hormone. It's a pro-growth hormone. It's something that would be there predominantly to help grow hair, sustain bones and muscles. It's there to, you know, grow the breast. If you're feeling a lot of tenderness in your breast, it's because there's a lot more estrogen. So progesterone will then kind of combat that type of excess growth. It's a calming hormone. It's the yin and yang energy. And so if you have too much estrogen and not enough progesterone, you could experience things like heavier periods and prolonged bleeding and PMS, and even trouble losing weight and things like that. So I really want to go over just what you can do to support your period from the beginning phase all the way to the end. And so even though there's 2 particular, you know, phases like the follicular and the luteal phase, you can really look at your cycle as 4 seasons. So when you're on your period, this is kind of similar to the energy of winter, like the 4 seasons of the year. So if you think of winter, it's a very kind of quiet, reflective time. And it's your body is working hard during that time to keep warm. It's losing the uterine lining. So what you want to do at that point is not to push yourself too much. It's to go to bed early, hydrate your body. And it's also it's a great time to reflect and to plan for the month. You know, it's a good time to journal. It's a good time to do some gentle exercises, some yoga. And in terms of food, it'll be great because this is the period of time where your digestive fire is at the lowest point in the month. And so you don't want to give it a lot, like to feast on hard to digest food. So you want to go with grounding, warming foods, such as soups. Turmeric, you know, turmeric tea, ginger tea, some heating elements. You want to add these herbs into your soups, into your salads, into your sauces if you're making like a spaghetti sauce. So try to bring up that heating element. And if you're going to have a tea, you can do turmeric tea with black pepper. Those 2 are very synergistic, so they work together to be absorbed in the body. And you can also add cumin and coriander. So during your period, it's great to have easy to digest things, fluids, teas, lemon tea, lemon ginger tea, and raspberry leaf tea is great for the uterine lining as well. So if you experience cramping, raspberry leaf tea has been used for many years for labor, even like through pregnancy and through labor, just to help with the contraction and to shorten the duration of labor. So it's good for during your period to drink raspberry leaf tea as well. And you'd also want to consider minerals, because if you do have cramping, magnesium is a key mineral that can help with relaxing muscles. So you can supplement on magnesium during your period. You can add more seaweed or seafood into your soups. Seaweed has a lot of minerals. So yeah, add sea salts, Himalayan salt, miso. These are things that have minerals as well. And so during your period, it's just a time to kind of nourish your body and not stress it out. The other thing also is to avoid coffee and black tea during your period. I know for a lot of people, they need it to, start their morning. So if you were to have more than one cup, like try to lower it to just that one that you need in the morning and see how you feel, because you want to have a restful sleep, and you also want to retain the water that you have, because during your period you're already losing fluids. So not only do you want to hydrate, but you also want to prevent the diuretic effect of coffee, of caffeine. Also in black tea, there's tannins, and the tannins can inhibit absorption of iron and various minerals. So that's another reason why you can try to, abstain from coffee, from caffeine, and from black tea as well. So those are my tips for, how to support your health during your period. If you do experience a lot of cramping, I do recommend clary sage essential oil rather than taking Tylenol or Advil. Of course, if you're in a lot of pain and you need to function, go ahead and take those painkillers. But excessive use of painkillers can really affect the liver. And your liver is so important when it comes to getting rid of excess estrogen and reducing PMS. So if you can somehow use essential oils to manage the cramping, either peppermint with some carrier oil or use clary sage and just rub it along both sides of your lower belly, then that would be extremely helpful for your period cramps. Okay, so after your period, now the winter's over, you're heading into spring, okay? And that is the follicular phase. This is when estrogen is slowly rising. And in the springtime, this is where you're going to get more energy. And this is where you would want to consider blood building foods. So when you're done with your period, now you want to plan ahead to rebuild and to make sure that the next period will not deplete you and not drain you. So you're kind of cycling, kind of like, I always compare it to going into a boxing match. I don't want to be unprepared if I'm going to fight, and so I want to be able to go and just cruise in and not have to worry. So before I learned about holistic nutrition, I really didn't plan ahead for my period, and I basically got very anemic, and I had issues. I had like ovarian cysts, I had polyps, I had endometriosis, and I don't have that anymore. So it's an amazing journey, but I really want to share what I've learned. So some blood building foods, they include things that are green. Okay, so anything that's dark leafy greens, spirulina, chlorella, those are blood building. Chlorophyll liquid, so the actual chlorophyll that's inside a plant, the liquid, it's like the blood of the plant, is very similar to human blood, to the red blood cells, hemoglobin. The only difference is really the center of it. In the plant, we have magnesium at the center, and in the red blood cells, we have iron in the center, but everything else is the same. So if you were to take in more green leafy vegetables, that would help. If you add in some red beets, that's very cleansing for the blood. It's supportive of the liver. Figs are good, kale, broccoli, nettle tea, wheatgrass, blackstrap molasses is also filled with iron and minerals. And lentils, spinach, those are great. It has iron, and just remember that when you take foods that have iron, to add a little bit of citrus, a little bit of sourness. So if you're going to have, let's say, green leafy vegetables with spinach, just squeezing some lemon juice. If you're going to have blackstrap molasses in water, squeeze some lemon juice in there. It's going to help absorb the minerals. And also through the month, if you're experiencing too much estrogen, the signs that you will feel are basically acne, tender breasts, cramping, heavy bleeding of your period. So, during that month, if you're getting cramping and moodiness, you could try to support your liver a little bit more using some teas. And some of these teas that I would recommend are things like milk thistle, dandelion tea, burdock root tea. Green teas are great. And as you move toward the luteal phase, which is kind of like just before your period when you're experiencing more moodiness, that's a great time to increase the teas and lower sugar. That's a good time to remove dairy, sugar, and alcohol, because those three elements are very aggravating to the estrogen effect of the body. And if you are experiencing heavy periods as well as PMS symptoms, and on top of it, if you're experiencing any kind of growths, abnormal growths, such as fibroids, polyps, ovarian cysts, cystic breasts, endometriosis, any types of growth are indicative of excess estrogen. If that's the case, then you have to go even further to remove commercial meats. You know, if try to get organic to really lower the amount of hormones. Look at things that you use around the house that have chemicals that are hormone disrupting. So anything with perfumes. You want to go without perfume on your body to cleanse the house. You can use essential oils with baking soda, with vinegar. And on top of it, you can really think about reducing the dairy, especially if you have to have dairy, you can go organic, but really consider removing dairy because you don't need that excess hormones, especially if you have growth in the body. I do want to mention also during the period of time just before your period that people do get moody, they can get anxiety, and this is a time where if you were to anticipate earlier, you could plan on maybe doing some smaller tasks, such as administrative tasks, maybe your finances, or getting an oil change, getting your scheduling done. Just not big projects, and that could be less overwhelming maybe. And practice some positive affirmations for yourself, some daily priming, journaling, some self-compassion, so you're not, you know, because some people expect so much from themselves. They expect their energy to be just the same throughout the month, and sometimes it could be, you know, oh, during last week I was a top performer and this week I can barely get out of bed, you know, and they have that self-judgment. But if you can understand that it is normal, that your body is gonna, you know, want to calm down toward the luteal phase just before your period, then you can have different expectations for yourself, and that could also help with mental health as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. And I did send out a newsletter earlier, and I plan to send one every month. So I'm not going to spam you with like weekly or daily emails. But in the last newsletter, I included a free ebook about the gut microbiome, and there were some recipes in there on fermented foods that would be good for your gut bacteria. So if you want that, haven't received it, then send me your email address. You can message me or comment below if you want, and I can send you the last newsletter. I also wanted to let you know that I am doing a lot of consultations now, primarily over Zoom because of the pandemic, but as things open up, if you're wanting to see me face to face, we can meet at the Skylift Ayurveda Health Center, and this is located on Guang in the West Island, and I can put the information in the description below. And that's it for me. I'm hoping you guys enjoy your Friday and have a wonderful weekend and take care of your health during the month. One great way to know what to anticipate is to journal, to mark down how you feel, to mark down the foods and how it's influencing your mood and your energy. And if you want to talk with me, I'm more than happy to go a little bit deeper with you. Have a great day.